Welcome back, it's me Lou, and I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are looking at this. It's from Hasbro, and it's the Marvel Legends Lady Deathstrike. Now this belongs to their supervillains subline, and boy am I excited. This is a character I've been wanting for years under the Marvel Legends banner. Previously, Toy Biz gave us one years ago, but it's about time that Hasbro gave us one. Lady Deathstrike is one of Wolverine's premier supervillains. She ranks up there, in my opinion, with like Sabretooth. So for me, this was a must-get. And the minute I saw this line when they announced it through social media, I was just like, oh my god, they're finally giving us a Lady Deathstrike. And I was so worried that I'd never be able to find this on the shelves. I could have pre-ordered it or bought it online, but I really enjoyed the experience of just finding the toys on the shelves. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done my my fair share of buying stuff online, if not too much. But you know, for me, nothing really replaces the feel of finding a brand new action figure at the store. And I'm so glad I found this Lady Deathstrike. You know, for me, it's like, finally, I got her. She's one of my favorite Marvel villains, and I don't know, this figure is so kick-ass on so many different levels. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm really excited about this. So, let's begin. So first off, it's the tried and true Marvel Legends packaging. I don't know why, I'm not sure why they went with this weird green and purple for the supervillain subline, but it kind of works, I guess. The lime green really makes the character pop off in terms of, like, you know, when you see it in the package. She comes with the giant torso of the Build-A-Figure, which is Zemnu. It's weird looking that, you know, I don't know, it's just weird. But the character herself, she looks amazing. On the spine of the box, some beautiful character artwork. I'm not sure who the artist is who does this. If you know, write in the comments below. I have the Doctor Doom in this line, and for some reason the Doctor Doom, I was looking at it, and it looked like it could have been the artwork by John Romita Jr. And this one's clearly done by, I think, the same artist, but the style looks a little bit different, so it doesn't look like JR Jr.'s stuff. Part of me was thinking, I don't know, maybe Chris Sprouse? I don't know, I might be wrong, but if you know who the artist is, just write it down in the comments below because I'd love to know. On the back, we have the full-size character artwork, the list of her wave mates, and the Build-A-Figure Zemnu. So there's Doctor Doom, I've reviewed him. There's Dormammu. I saw him at the store, I passed up on him. I'm kicking myself for doing that. There's the Hood. This is, I don't know, it's a weird character. And it's like, I saw it, I passed on it, and I kind of wish I got it. Lady Deathstrike. There's Arcade. I'm going to review him eventually. Red Skull and Scientist Supreme. I've reviewed him. Really cool figure. So let's read up about Deathstrike. With adamantium-infused bones and cybergenetic enhancements, Yuriko Oyama pursues a ruthless vendetta against the X-Men and Wolverine in particular. Alright, so if I remember my character history correctly, I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, just correct me down below. But if I remember correctly, Yuriko's father. So the whole reason why she has a vendetta against Wolverine, it has to do with the adamantium. Like, I believe her father was a scientist who might have perfected the bonding procedure that allows the adamantium to be like bonded onto Wolverine's skeleton and onto her. And I don't know, I think maybe he died or something, and for whatever reason, maybe she blames Wolverine for it, or I think she's actually been out to get Wolverine. I think in certain stories she's been out to get Wolverine just for his adamantium. Her history is kind of, not that it's confusing, but she has a very storied, you know, history with Wolverine and the X-Men. She's been on both sides of the fence. You know, she's been Wolverine's nemesis. She's aligned herself with the Reavers, and, you know, they have a vendetta against the X-Men also. But at the same time, I've read stories where she's kind of turned over a new leaf and joined the X-Men. So it's like, I don't know. Everything gets confusing, but this is the iconic Deathstrike. This is the one everyone kind of remembers. This is the supervillain. If you've read the Wolverine comic books, especially during Larry Hama's legendary run on Wolverine, she has many adventures there trying to chase down everyone's favorite Canadian furball. And I don't know, she's this badass. I love Lady Deathstrike. Alright, let's take her out of the box and get to this. So, first impressions of the action figure while still in a plastic tray. Short. That's the first thing that crossed my mind. She's a beautiful sculpt, but I don't know, she looks a little short. And it doesn't help that she has this giant torso piece next to her. I believe this is the there's a lot of reuse here, isn't there? I think they used this already for like Wendigo and I think Sasquatch. And we'll put this aside. Let's take a look at the figure. And here we have Lady Deathstrike. Now, outside the Build-A-Figure pieces, she has no other additional accessories. In all honesty, she doesn't need them. Wow, that's a beautiful figure. I'm really like... One thing I really appreciate about this figure is that it feels really new. Like, you feel like you're getting a completely new sculpt, which this might be the case. This is an original head sculpt. Her costume is very specific to herself. Like, you're not going to find this vest piece on any other character. Same with her chest. I don't think there's any other Marvel girls out there who has, like, cybernetics, like, sculpted onto their boobs. She has these giant, like, wizard sleeves. These hands, everything about this is like very specific to her. So it's great because this feels like, it's a new character we're getting, and it just feels like a new figure, just because there's so much that's just new about her. I would have appreciated if they at least gave us extra hands, like maybe they gave her a set of hands that just kind of looked normal, so she's not like all like tweaked out like this. Granted, this is what she's known for, but at the same time, I've seen her in the books where, she could extend her fingers or retract her blades so they look normal. And I don't know, maybe it'd be asking too much, but I think I would have also appreciated maybe like a second head without the do-rag. Yeah, this is awesome. So, in terms of this figure, the head rotates. Go look up and down a little bit, or a lot actually. I take it back. Her arms rotate. Her armored vest thing kind of gets in the way a little bit, but that's just the look of her costume. All the articulations there, the bicep, the elbows. Looks like it's single jointed elbows, which is alright, it's forgivable. But man, these hands are awesome. I'll talk about the sculpting a little bit. She has some waist swivel. Or she has full waist swivel. Mine's kind of a little tight, but that's alright. Her legs. It's Marvel Legends, it's what you expect. Double jointed knees, ankle articulation. But let's examine this figure closely, and as you can see, it's beautiful. The sculpting's right on. Great expression on the face. The paint application's nice and crisp. I'm kind of torn on the sculpt of these kind of like weird fringes or flaps on her do-rag. Like it's a dramatic effect where it looks like it's flowing, which I'm really cool with. But at the same time, I'm wondering if there's collectors out there who'd prefer a more neutral kind of thing where there's kind of like this is draped over her shoulders. But I like my figures to look dynamic, so I kind of like how it kind of looks like it's flowing in the wind. Her arms are awesome. I love these sleeves. The sculpting's it's kind of hard to see because it's white, so the light's kind of oversaturating it. But you can see there's nice sculpts and folds on it, and it's cool where they did the bicep cut. They did the bicep cut right above that little strap here. Some beautiful sculpting on her hands and forearm. You know, they really give her that cybernetic kind of look. And it's interesting too because, all right, so each hand there has articulated wrists, but for this hand, her left hand, it goes up and down, whereas on her right hand, the articulation goes side to side. So it's kind of cool that they actually put some thought into that. I would have appreciated maybe if they added more paint applications to like, so she kind of has the Japanese inspired samurai armor for her vest, but there's these kind of like ropes that kind of holds all the separate plates together. It would have been nice if they painted those a different color, but I think that might have been asking a little bit too much. But if you're a customizer, you can easily just paint those in. And one thing I'm torn on with her is that she kind of has the diaper look. And we'll go into this a little bit further later. But I like the sculpting on it. She has a really thick, broad waistband. But then she has that weird, like, diaper. And there's part of me that thinks they should have just left that diaper and colored it the same color as the legs and as the chest armor. Her legs are very plain, but it is what it is. Now, her character silhouette is just awesome. You see this character and this standing at you, and the silhouette of the character, it's completely Lady Deathstrike. The figure feels a little bit short. Let me grab another. I think I have another Marvel Legends figure. Let me grab one real quick. So here's Namor. And as you can see, there is a height difference. But that's alright. You know, Lady Deathstrike, I don't think she's necessarily known for being a tall character. She's Japanese. She's all about stealth. And I don't know, she's awesome. She's an assassin. She has these cool hands. I really wish they give us like a second set of hands where they're just a little bit more normal. In the comic books, you know, depending on who writes it or who draws it, she's displayed that she can actually extend her fingernails and her fingers, and even her forearms, since she's, you know, part machine. She's a cyborg. But I've also seen her portrayed in comic books where they take a page out of like the movie X2, and she just looks human altogether, and you don't realize she's a cyborg until she actually, you know, puts her hands into play and that she extends her fingernails. So, I mean, there's been different looks for the character, but this is the more iconic look that everyone associates Lady Deathstrike with. If I had to rate this figure numerically, oh my god, I want to say a 9. That might be... Is that too generous? Maybe, but I think... it's a 9 for so many different reasons. For one, it feels like a completely new figure. I mean, it is a new figure, but if you have it in your hand... There's just so much new sculpting, and it's not a whole lot of reuse because, you know, everything about this figure feels original and fresh and new. The articulation's there, the paint application's perfect, and they went with a really tried and true design. They went with the comic book design. It's not like the designer embellished it or added stuff that wasn't necessary, or they did things to make her costume feel more modern. This is Lady Deathstrike in her purest form. So for that, you know, this is almost like a perfect figure for me. It's really awesome. And since we're on the subject of Lady Deathstrike, let's bring out the previous Deathstrike. So for the longest time, this was the Lady Deathstrike many of us had. It was good for the time. It's, you know, looking back at it, looking at it now, it's weird. It's kind of scary and creepy. But this is Lady Deathstrike. It's a different. I don't know. I got this. I got this a couple of years ago. When I really got serious about collecting the Hasbro Marvel Legends. I was like, all right, I have Sabretooth, I have some of Wolverine's Rogue Gallery, but I need a Deathstrike. And Hasbro didn't make one yet, and I knew Toy Biz made one, and I came across this. The price was reasonable. It was brand new. It was still in the package, and it's really showing its age now. I'm kind of scared to move parts of it because the plastic's kind of old, and if some of the paints feel like it's stuck together, and if you've handled some of the older toys from back in the day, you kind of know that, you know, once some of the paints fuse together, you can't really move stuff around without the risk of tearing the softer plastics, especially if they're a little bit more rubbier, a little bit more rubber, like this is. But I think for its time, this was a great figure. But there was a reason why I didn't display this with my modern Marvel Legends figures, because it looks too out of place. For one, the face is really creepy. She doesn't have any pupils painted in. Her eyes are just strictly yellow. She has the vest like this one does. But one thing I do like about this one is that this one has that diaper look I was talking about, whereas this one, you know, her pants are just one color. And there's part of me that kind of likes that a little bit more. Like, when I see this, my first thought is it looks like a diaper. It kind of reminds me of like a sumo wrestler. I like this, how her pants are just one color. It's not broken up by the diaper look. The sleeves on this one's kind of weird, because if you're unfamiliar with the character and don't understand what her costume is, her sleeves here almost looks like an extra set of arms. So it almost looks like she has 4 arms. Whereas this one is kind of like the thick, flared out wizard sleeves. One thing I do like about this figure more than this one is that this one kind of like really encapsulates her powers and her cybernetics, because this one, she has these crazy long extended arms and forearms, which she would even have in the comic books. And it's no hiding the fact that she's part robot, because you just get these crazy like Terminator T-800 forearms that like extend for like forever. And her fingers are articulated, but like I said, the paint feels kind of fused together, and I'm scared of moving it because it might tear. This is a very old figure. This is like 15 years old, so. And the articulation's very dated. It's that kind of like action figure engineering from like, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, where it's that weird ball joint and you can't really get the legs to do what you want them to do unless you fiddle with them forever. But I'm glad I have this. I think it's a great piece to complement this one. You know, it's kind of like a history lesson. You know, here's OG action figure Lady Deathstrike, and here's the new awesome and improved one. This is a much sexier figure too, to be honest. Excuse me. So yeah, let's wrap this up. This is a must get. If you want to go down memory lane and you don't have the old Toy Biz one, you know, go down and hunt it and find it. If you can find it for a reasonable price, I do think it's worth buying, just for the, you know, for history's sake. It's kind of cool to have the OG one and have the new one, just so you can appreciate how much cooler this one is. But this one has a certain charm to it as well. But if you're an X-Men fan, and more importantly a Wolverine fan, you know, Wolverine, you need all his villains. I believe they're coming out with that. It's like I think it's an Amazon exclusive. It's like a 5-pack. I think it comes with Wolverine, Omega Red, Callisto, and Cypher, and I think one of the Hellfire Club dudes, I think, and a shirtless Wolverine. But that box set's like $120, and I don't need it that bad. But if you do, you know, if you do need more Wolverine villains, this is a must get. You need her, you need Sabretooth, you need Omega Red, you need a Magneto. Wild Child, possibly. I don't know. The list of Wolverine's Rogues Gallery goes on and on. But this is a great figure. I highly recommend it. So, let's wrap this up. My name is Lou. Once again, thank you so much for checking out this video. I greatly appreciate it. So go out there and find yourself Lady Deathstrike. She's awesome. So I'll talk to you later. Take care.